Today is my day, a brand new beginning.
Welcome everybody, this is Susan Levin at Talk Up Your Biz, Speak Your Way to More Profits, and I'm here with our co-host,
Jean-Noel, Bassior.
We're very happy that you're with us at LA Talk Live, and we're here to inspire entrepreneurs and experts, authors and speakers, and anybody who wants to grow their business and income through speaking. We're your people. We're your peeps. At Speaker Services, we've been training people and helping people connect with audiences for over 21 years. And we're just here to share the information and bring you some expert guests. And today our guest will be Terry Braverman, and we will also have Camille Leon on the show. But before we get to our guests, we always have to banter with each other and talk about what's going on in the industry. So what's happening, Jean-Noel?
Well, as usual, you pull some great stories from the net. And the first one I'm looking at, public speaking tips for the non-professional speaker, which is really good because, you always start out as a non-professional, right? I mean, what's a professional? What do you think of, what defines a professional speaker?
I think maybe people say, you're a professional speaker when you're making $2,500 or $5,000. That makes you professional.
So if
you're getting
making
paid for it.
Yeah, so if you're still like making 25 or 300, 2 or 300, right, which is not bad, right?
Well,
yeah,
I don't know. That's not a really great fee. But it's not something that happens overnight. And this post is from Cheryl Rausch, who's a colleague of ours for many years, and she's put out her new book. And so she calls it 7 Steps to Business Presentations Manual. And I thought it was really interesting to see what her steps were. She's a prolific writer, a wonderful speaker, and she's a professional speaker, and she's high up in NSA, National Speakers Association, as well as Toastmasters. She's a distinguished Toastmaster, and she's also a graphic artist, so she's out there. But one of the things that she talks about here is to start with a mind map to brainstorm initially and not with a line memo pad. So I think that's very cool. We had Marianne Emma Jeff on the show a couple weeks ago, and that's exactly what she does. She does a mind map. And when she took my class, Market Yourself as a Speaker, she was writing away. She says, I've got this mind map out here. And I was amazed at how she, some people need to see it.
Do you want to
that.
explain what a mind map is?
A mind map is where you put all your ideas out there, and then you put them all together and see how they work in a format.
You kind of connect them, like you'll write one idea down, and then there's many different ways of doing it, but one way is if that idea leads to something else, you can connect it with a line, right?
Right.
Sort of like having a little bubble or a balloon and then connect that with the next one, right?
Is it like a vision board too? Could you say that that's a visual kind of way of mind mapping?
Well, technically I would think that a vision board is more like posting pictures or images of something you like, but you could probably make a mind map and post images.
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever works for you, right?
Yeah, I think that would be fun, and that's for the creative person too.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's saying basically, I think a lot of these tips some of them seem kind of obvious, but basically she's saying you really have to think about what you're going to go out there and speak. You really, the point of this to me seems to be preparation, don't you think?
Yes, but also know who's your audience and focus. I spoke again. We talk about this almost every week on Talk Up Your Biz.
So we're always saying the same thing.
Right, we're saying the same thing. Somebody called me and I said, well, who's your audience? Anybody, and it's not anybody. We need to know who your audience is, who wants to hear your message. And sometimes I can channel it, and I know who their audience is before they know who their audience is, and give them suggestions. But yes, you need to prepare for it, and one of the ways to prepare for it is, and Cheryl suggested here too, is to write out your points. We always have an opening and a closing, and then we have 3 points in an hour. And our team member Jack Barnard, who will be on the show in a couple weeks, uses a template, and in that template you have your points. And then you have your stories so that you can switch them around, whichever one supports the point. And then you involve the audience so you can play around with it. Yeah, so that makes it easy for you just to pull out the stories that you like to use. And I know both of our guests have great ways of using a template and have stories to tell. and Terry has a book, 2 books, and that's, I think, and he talks a lot too. He talks too much.
Well, he's a recovering comedian. What do you expect? This is our upcoming guest, Terry Braverman, right?
Right. Yeah, he's a recovering comedian, right.
But so Cheryl, who also is very good at doing her own promotion because she is an artist. She's great at one sheets, as I recall.
Oh,
and
she is.
She's just really on top of it with her promotion. Now, one of her tips, which I'm going to disagree with just because I like to disagree with
I know
things,
you
as
do.
you know, is write out your entire presentation word for word.
Yeah.
That stops me cold because
Yeah.
I don't know if many people really do that. I know for some, if you really need to do that, fine, it's great. But we've also had clients that have come to us that we've coached, and I know a couple of clients recently have said to us, well, I know my next step, I'm going to write out my presentation.
Right.
And you and I have kind of encouraged them to not do that, actually. In fact, we've encouraged them to maybe open the presentation by involving the audience, asking a question.
Right, to poll the audience. Yes,
Right.
we had that experience last week with our doctor client who you called Tom, but now he's given us permission to use his name, you know.
Okay. Tom is now Steve.
We had a great session.
It was an
with
amazing
him.
moment.
We had a really great session with him, and he's now, when we talked to him, we met him in person, but he lives in rural Indiana, and his assignment was to get his story angles together because he's written a novel. And you want to say what the novel's about a little bit?
It's a really interesting
And
novel.
she's editing it.
Well, just to recap really
Yeah.
quickly, because this has to do with how he's going to go out and talk about his book. So he's an MD. He is
Former
an orthopedic physician, right?
osteopath.
Well, he's not an osteopath. I think he's a real physician, isn't he?
He's MD is an osteopath.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great. You know more than I do about this. Then, but he wrote a novel about the Holocaust, and the lead character is Michelle, who is a Jewish doctor who is taken prisoner by the Nazis and then forced to work with the Nazi doctors. And so it's seen through this character, Michelle's eyes. And Steve researched this book extremely well, so there's actually details in here that perhaps are a bit new about what happened within the camps. So, but it's a novel. It's not as if he wrote a nonfiction book, revealing new things about Operation Paperclip and the aftermath of the Holocaust and all these things. So we're encouraging him, of course, to go out and speak to various organizations.
And we found a bunch of organizations for him, an email list for upper class Jews, and many different genres of Jewish people, and those are the people who are probably interested in hearing the message. So we talked about that, and we're looking forward to having him on the show
Jewish
down the
professional
line.
organizations,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
and
like
they'll
that.
be and the synagogues and the B'nai B'riths and.
But even beyond that, because part of the plot, as this novel gets to the end, does involve searching for the Nazis who managed to escape after the war, and some of them were led into the U.S. under Operation Paperclip, which was a secret CIA operation at the time. But that gives Steve a whole new audience, because actually this year, a few months ago, last year rather, end of 2012, in the Wall Street Journal, there was an article about whether, what happened to some of these guys and whether some of them should still be in the country, and some of them are actually still working at NASA. So this gives him a whole new audience to speak to.
Right. And last week on the Book Beat, which is the show that follows this show, by the way, round of applause, Richard sent us the stats for the month of May for the Book Beat alone, to over 272,000 visits to it. And yay! Yeah, we're excited. Yeah, and what happened last week is we had we had Lane Wang on, who also wrote a novel, and it was such an interesting story, and how she went to China and researched the Jews who had to leave Nazi Germany. The only place that they could go that without a passport was to Shanghai, and it also takes place in World War II. But the thing that struck me about it was that she's Chinese, and she liked doing the research so much and fell in love with Judaism, and she converted. Well, today I spoke to another woman who also she's not Chinese, she's Italian from New York, and she's the one about the soulmate that I talked to you about. And she said she listened to the show, and what she had in common with that was that she too turned to Judaism. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
So let's. I just want to remind people too that on this Wednesday, the 26th at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we are having a free teleclass, and it's called "Take Your Message to the Media." And we're going to answer all your questions, give you lots of advice, and we're going to make an offer or two so that you can decide if you want to work with us in some way or another. We're very happy for you to come on the call for free. So would you please go to Susan@speakerservices.com and sign up for the class. You'll see it on the left-hand side of the page. It says free teleclass, and we'll be thrilled to meet you on the call. Maybe you're one of the 279,000 people who are listening to the show, and thank you, Richard, for sending those stats. We appreciate it. Okay, so, I wanted to talk to you about this other post that I found that's just right up your alley, because you're a book coach and interested in all kinds of things books. And this is by Lynn Klippel, who is a colleague of ours also. And I think she just moved to some Mediterranean island. She used to live like in Kansas or something. But she's the author of 6 books and many information products and a popular speaker. And her background as a teacher, librarian, and certified coach gives her the ability to break complex tasks into simple steps. But she's a book person. She helps you put your book together. So this was a post that she put out, and this is a question that we get asked all the time too, and we try to help people with it. 5 great questions to help you discover your ideal book topic. So what do you have to say about this? I know you have some comments about it.
Well, I do agree with her. She kind of says some conflicting things, but in a way, part of this is she is trying to steer people towards writing a book that will help their business. Where I love to violently disagree with her is
violently. You're going to take out a gun?
I said casually. Is she says, if you're a corporate consultant, writing a book about French cooking might be a fun and creative project, but she kind of tells you not to do that. Now, if a client came to me, I'd probably say, if you want to write a book about French cooking, if that's what they're telling me and that's where their passion is, I would say go ahead and do it.
Of course you would.
That's the book you should.
She's a rebel without a cause.
Which would be a very bad business decision, I admit. So I credit Lynn totally with trying to, steer people towards wise business decisions, which is not my forte. I admit that.
And one of the things that she says, which goes right back to what we're talking about, is that most of the successful books have to have a clear focus and present useful steps to solve a specific problem for a specific reader. In fact, the more clearly you define your target reader and your topic, the easier it will be for you to market it. So the first question is, which topic is most targeted? That's what she wants to know. And then she gives 3 examples. What do you think about these examples?
Well, I may not have the same
it?
examples that you have. Stress. Oh, I see those examples. Yes, those were really good. She does say she gives you an example of a topic that's too general, like stress reduction. So you don't want to say, I'm going to write a book about stress reduction. You want to say instead, and her examples are really good, I want to write a book about mediation techniques for Olympic athletes, which might be, she's going to relate that to stress reduction, probably how to do stress-free mediation with Olympic athletes, something like that. She says, don't say you're going to just write a book about money management because that's too general. She says, be specific, make it financial education for new college graduates. So what she's trying to do is to get you to focus, right?
Right, yeah, because if you're writing a book for college students, you really need to have the word college in there, even in your speaker topic. That's what, otherwise if you said financial reduction, stress reduction, it doesn't mean anything to them. But if you add the college, so that's what we're talking about, focusing. But when you have to come up with a title, you and I always, are the first people to get on Amazon and see what other people titles are and get ideas that way and coach our clients to see
I also tell people, if you can find a bookstore in your neighborhood, what I used to tell people was go to a bookstore and just wander around and look at titles. And I suggest going to the bookstore if possible, or at least if you're on Amazon, looking at titles that come from mainstream publishers, because there are a lot of very bizarre self-published titles out there, and you may not necessarily want to use those as a pattern, but that said, if you can find a bookstore, just wander around, look at titles, and what happens, I think, is your subconscious mind kind of gets into this title mentality, especially if you're writing a nonfiction book where you need a title and a subtitle.
But
right.
in a novel, you don't need a subtitle.
No, you don't need a subtitle.
That's what I learned last week when I listened to the Book Beat.
Yeah. Right. That's more a thing that's done for nonfiction books. But yeah, title's very important. And then there's that great story of supposedly, I'm not sure if it's true, but it was, a story going around about Bantam books, because what happens if you're with a mainstream publisher, they really do have the final say as to title. So there was a book that was called 4 Days in the Life of So-and-so that was not selling too well over at Bantam, so they had a lot of meetings, and they came up with the title 4 Nights in the Life of So-and-so, and then it really began to sell.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what they know that you don't. So as authors, we want to have control over the title. That's one of the things that we do relinquish, not content. As authors, if you're with a mainstream publisher, you do have control over content. They can't make you put anything in the book that you don't want to put in, but titles, and artwork for the cover and stuff like that, that's one of the things that you have to give up final say on, unless your publisher is exceptionally, lenient that way.
And I just want to mention before we go to break in a couple minutes that we have one spot open for coaching, for media or speaker marketing coaching with Jean-Noel and me for July. We're pretty packed, and thank you very much. We feel real good about it, and we're helping a lot of people get their message out there. What else do we want to talk about with Lynn?
She says...
Oh, here we're going to break, it sounds like. I can hear some music. Do you hear the music?
I don't think
Yes, I hear it.
Yeah, now I hear it.
We hear Lena Marquez, who's written the song, The Seed. And am I taking us out? Are you?
Let's see. It doesn't matter, but stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, because we do have Terry Braverman coming up, and he is a self-described recovering comedian, and he's got a new book about Los Angeles that he wants to tell us about.
LA Made Easy.
Yeah, LA Made Easy. Exactly. So stay tuned to Talk Up Your Biz.
At LA Talk Live. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Hi, this is Burness Heron inviting you to join me every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our all-new show, The Mortgage Show. Join us as we discuss exclusive new products and programs through government and conventional financing. No mortgage-related topics are spared. Come with me through this journey of informative, stimulating conversation, giving you the facts, clarity, and insight you deserve. You've never heard a mortgage show like this before. You'll be enlightened, educated at the same time. This is for the community, for the nation, for everyone. As the industry evolves, we evolve. So don't forget to tune into The Mortgage Show, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, or just watch us on Ustream TV, reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk.
Hi, this is Elena, inviting you to join me every Wednesday at noon for Elena's Beauty Talk and more, exclusively on LA Talk Live. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Today is my day. a brand new beginning. The future will blossom magnificently, 'cause today I'm planting the seed. Planting a seed to build a world.
Hi, and welcome back to Talk Up Your Biz. I'm Jean-Noel Bassior with my co-host,
Susan Levin.
and we have Terry Braverman here in studio with us.
Yay, Terry Braverman.
Thank you. I'm pleased as punch to be on the show. In fact, I almost brought some mahjong tiles with me because I think between the three of us, we have about 65 years of experience in the speaking industry. Isn't that right?
I used to play mahjong. I learned it when I was 11 years old in the mountains.
Well, 65 years is retirement
Poconos.
age. What are we doing here? We should be by a pool playing mahjong,
Right,
bridge,
and drinking lemonade.
talking about needlepoint.
What? By the pool. By the pool we should be, yeah.
But we're here talking about speaking.
Right, and Jean-Noel has something to say.
Well, you've got 2 books out, but your first book has been in 5 printings so far. That's pretty good.
I think it's up to 500 now, if you include
500
ebooks, and constantly
Wow. Oh, really?
revising
That's-
it because it's so easy to do with ebooks.
And the title of your first book is that it? What?
When the going gets tough, the tough lighten up.
Okay, and so obviously you must have had some pretty good advice in that book for it to sell so well.
Well, I think it's a combination of things, Jean-Noel. I think the title resonates with people. I was very fortunate when it came out in '97. It did very well on Amazon. It was in the top 5% of sales for almost 3 years. And each chapter deals with a different aspect of living. The first chapter has to do with believe it or not, the spiritual aspect of humor, how humor is so important in order to allow us to let go of tragic and difficult circumstances in our life, to be able to detach from difficult circumstances and even transcend, in a sense.
And I know that you were out speaking to corporations because you're one of our speakers, and that was the most popular topic. You had other things that you spoke about, but they always asked for Terry to speak about this book because the humor aspect, it was really, and the name of it. Talk about titles. This is a great title.
It's a great title, yeah. So how do you use humor when you're facing a really tough life situation? I mean, that's the last thing that we think we can draw on. So what's your best advice for that?
Well, rather than give advice, I will give you an example.
Good.
From my own speaking experience of coming on site to present at a company retreat one afternoon. And when I entered the room, the person who was about to introduce me gets up on the stage to announce that one of the most beloved employees in the company had just died.
Oh, right.
I'm coming on in 5 minutes
Wow.
to talk about humor in the workplace.
Oh, boy.
What an introduction.
So when that washes over and I see people who are moaning and groaning, and some people are wiping tears off of their face, and she didn't have my intro card in her hand, I think because she was so caught up in the moment, in the experience of the tragedy, that after she announced what had happened, she turns and looks at me sitting in the front row, and she says, "And now to talk about humor in the workplace, please welcome Terry Braverman." And when I walked up on stage, that was the first time in my speaking career I had no idea what I was about to say. I was completely speechless. I stood there in front of the audience, and my mind was racing, and I told myself, I said, "Terry, take a deep breath." So I took a deep breath, and I looked around, and I said, "I understand that we've all just experienced a great loss here, somebody obviously very near and dear to you. And I was wondering if somebody here in the room might want to get up and talk about a time when you felt encouraged, inspired, humored by Corrine, the woman who had just passed."
Oh, that's good.
And at first, nobody stood up. And I thought, okay, where do I go from here? Finally, a hand went up. And I looked at the man with the mic. I said, "Get over there. Get over there. Get over there now." And she stands up and she says, well, you know, Corrine became our supervisor after being our coworker for so many years. And she was a little bit concerned about the ramifications of that, suddenly being their superior. So one day she called a meeting of all her coworkers and she said, now, I know now I am your supervisor, but I want you to know this is still a democracy in this department. Only I run it. And the whole room just broke up.
Oh, that's
it
great.
was
Comeback,
it was
yeah.
a spontaneous, cathartic experience for everybody in the room. And that opened up the door for other people to stand up and share about their experience of Corrine. So
That's such a great example. So don't hold back. I mean, express, right? I mean,
express, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I know that you travel a lot and that you've been almost everywhere, and we get your travel logs and such. And now, I know you live in L.A. as well. We're actually neighbors. You've written another book called L.A. Made Easy,
L.A. Made Easy from iconic
which I think
to
we have a
eclectic.
graphic of that Nez can put up for us so people can see it. He's shaking his head because it's an ebook and he doesn't have a print copy. So you'll see it on the screen, I believe. So tell us about that book.
Well, this is born out of my cultural junkie side.
Yeah, I know that side of you.
My wanderlust side. I've been
Yeah.
wandering, as you say. I've gone around the world, and I've also been writing condensed travel guides
Right.
about places where I've been.
And getting paid too.
And getting well
to
when people
travel, right?
when people download the book, and because I'm promoting the places that I go to, I also get perks for that from tourist offices and hotels and whatnot.
Now that's
So,
really smart, you
Yeah.
all. Listen to
Amazing.
that, because he found a way to have fun, use his expertise, and get paid for it. And now write about it.
So now I have 34 published condensed travel guides of places I've been to around the world. And I started to think, I'm living in a huge city where there is so much to offer here. There are so many different things that even if you grew up here, you wouldn't even know about.
This
For
is
example,
true.
have you
Yeah.
heard of the Great Wall of L.A.? Do you know L.A. has a Great Wall?
No,
No.
only China.
No, and I
It's
did
not
grow
in
up here.
It's not even in the Chinese neighborhood.
Where is it?
It's in the valley, and it's actually the longest mural in the world. It's
Really?
over a half a mile long.
Really?
Wow.
Runs parallel to Coldwater Canyon Boulevard.
Now, how did you discover that?
I discovered that because I happen to know the person who created it, who galvanized a group of young, aspiring Latino artists to work on this wall, and it was about a 4-year project. It took place way back in the 70s.
Way back then.
Yes.
Yeah, murals were very popular then, as they are, in Venice, which many of them are being redone. I remember they have mural projects.
Wow, that's a great example. I've never
Yeah.
heard of that at all.
Give us another one.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm
What
going to
else?
give you one that, especially for you ladies, that are going to like.
Yeah.
There is a spa that has, they call it a Himalayan salt brick room.
Let's go.
You're
Now,
there.
is that the one in Koreatown?
No,
No?
not
Okay.
in Koreatown.
That's,
No,
that's too popular.
Yeah,
no.
okay.
The walls are made of salt brick. The floor is made of salt.
Wow.
I went in there back in November last year. I told them I'm going to write you up in my new LA Made Easy guide. And when I walked out, I felt like I was walking on air.
But it was only for women. Oh, you're
No.
just telling us about it. Okay. The guys can go
Hey,
too.
if it was only for women, I'd
Okay.
still be having a flat tire here. I think I lost 10 pounds
So,
going
so
in
what
there.
happens in there?
Well, what happens is that salt, natural pure salt, is a purifier. It's a natural body purification supplement that when you're inhaling it, the salt is obviously it's going into your lungs, it's going through your body,
Right.
you're breathing it out, and it's releasing all these toxins in your body.
And where is this?
Yeah, where is it?
You want to know where it is?
I do.
It's in Santa Monica.
No. Where?
On 4th and Broadway.
In some spa?
It's in a spa, yes.
Which one?
What's the name? This is 20
He wants
questions.
us to buy the book.
Oh,
Buy the
I
book.
get it. Oh, okay.
Well, how
It's,
can you
it's
get
called the Tikkun Spa.
Oh, I haven't heard of it. How do you spell-
Tikkun.
Okay. Well, how can
Yes.
people get the book? Let's
Yeah.
let's not keep them in suspense.
There's 3 ways. One
3 ways.
can download the book either through your iPhone app. You can also find it on iBooks and also on Kindle.
Okay. And it's tell them the name of it again.
Come to think of it, we can use some kindling in this room right now. I'm
It's
freezing
getting
in here.
cold. I know Nez
Want
likes to
to
keep
throw
the
another
room
log
cold.
on the fire, Nez, please?
How about Smashwords? Are you going to publish it on Smashwords? Because, that's the big ebook, store where, you want to be, and you'll be in all the formats, Nook, iPad, Kindle, everything.
I have to play innocent.
Yeah,
I don't know
Yeah,
about
check it out. Check
Smashwords.
out Smashwords.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be there.
Well, you
Smashwords.
listen to last week's book beat because we had a man who talked about that.
Right, a book formatter, but Smashwords is
Yeah.
very well known. Check it
Yeah,
out.
and he includes smash words in
Yeah.
his formatting, and it was very reasonable. His name is John Lowe.
Ah, okay.
I'll send you the link.
I watched one of your shows, I think it was back in March, and you and Jean-Noel were talking about ebooks, and apparently somebody thought ebooks was dead, and you were saying, no, it's evolving
Right.
into a multimedia
exploding.
format.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree with you more because in the case of LA Made Easy, what I'm about to do is add some video to it.
Oh, make it interactive.
Right.
That's what we've been talking
yes.
about
Right.
here. Yeah.
And,
This multimedia format that's coming into ebooks is pretty amazing, isn't it?
oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do. I mean, because the template that is being used for this book is so unique, to be able to reformat that into a paperback would take a lot of, it's impossible. You'd have
Right.
to completely redo it.
Now you can update it as you add new places, right?
I'm doing it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Every
Right.
week I'm adding something
How many?
different to it.
How many tips are there in there in the book?
Well, there's over 250 listings
Wow.
in the book, including attractions like museums, historical
Wow.
buildings, cultural centers, places to go for nightlife, restaurants.
Give us
That's-
another real fun thing to do, and you don't have to mention the name. We promise, okay, folks. You got to get the book for this
How
one.
much is the book, by the way?
It depends on which format you're downloading it on.
What does it range?
What's the cheapest we
Like from
can get it?
$1.99 up to $7.99.
Okay,
So
that's
it
very
depends.
reasonable,
It's very, very
especially-
reasonable.
And you have your
yes.
choice of formats. How does that work?
Well, it's not. I mean, the publisher is GuideGecko.com, and so
Okay.
those are the formats that they're working in.
I see.
Those three formats. But given that summer's here and the time is right,
That's right. And there are people
everybody's
listening
looking for
all
something
over
to
the
do.
country to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're coming to LA, you got to get Terry's LA Made Easy.
So what's another thing they can experience here?
Another thing. Well, if you're a bargain hunter in the
Oh, yeah.
culinary world, there's actually a place in our neighborhood where you can get a full meal for $2.
Oh, you know all those things. I know you're like, where? I'm going to, where? Gino said you didn't have to say it, but I want to know.
Okay. I'll tell you later.
Oh,
So, and this, well, let's give a hint. This is kind of the Venice Marina, Culver City area, right? It's
That was
Actually,
funny question.
our neighborhood, Mar Vista.
Mar Vista.
Vista.
Yes.
Okay, I forgot that.
in
Yeah.
our neighborhood. Yes, because I remember you and our friend Michael Horn would go to every happy hour that you could possibly go to, and when you would show up at every party where there was food. So I know where you're getting some of your information from.
Yeah, and relatively speaking, I've been out of circulation since those days.
You really? Oh, so you
Yes.
haven't. But so are you speaking about this book now?
Well, I haven't started to yet, and I don't see speaking as being a major part of my marketing mix. I'm seeing mostly social media. And in fact,
yeah.
I'm bringing somebody in next week
Yeah.
to get me going on a social media campaign for the book. Also, meetup groups.
Right.
Because these are the people looking for places, new
That's
places to explore and things to experience.
So you're going to start a meetup group or join a meetup group?
Well, it's tricky starting one because if I'm promoting something, I can't really do that.
Yeah.
Can't commercialize what I'm doing if I'm.
Right.
Explain
if
what
I'm
a
forming
meetup
my own.
group is, just so all the listeners understand here.
Well, it's a huge social networking group that has group meetings and outings for everything under the sun. If you want to start a group for Jewish bungee jumpers, you can do that.
Right.
You have a passion for gorillas and you live in San Bernardino, you could do a meetup group for that.
So first you announce it through social media, right? And then it's actually, there's a real meeting that you can actually come to,
Yeah.
right? If you-
Meetup
Yeah.
advertises it also, and they
Yeah.
have many people.
Yeah, they send directly to your email box, and they have. I go to the free concert groups; they're fantastic. You get to see some quality performers through that group.
But
What is it in you that wants to explore? Because did you grow up in LA?
I didn't.
You
no.
didn't? Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up partly in Detroit. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, Motown. And in my teenage years, I was in New York, in Jackson Heights, which was known as the Medellin cartel summer home in those days.
I grew up near there.
Yes.
But it's really fascinating to me that that you've kind of kept this interest alive, that you explore, you're passionate about finding new things. You know, what, have you always been like that? Or
It
is this...
started, I mean, my mother used to tell me stories about when I was 4 years old and we'd go out to a lake and she could never take her eye off me for 1 second, because if she did, I'd be on the other side of the lake exploring.
So you were born with this
I was
curiosity.
born with this
It's a good
adventure
gene.
affliction. You know,
a good gene.
I just have it.
And you never lost it. That's what's...
I haven't.
No, it's wonderful.
You know,
And it's interesting that one of my seminars that I give,
Oh,
How to Become Energy Efficient in Your Mind, Body, and Spirit, I have an opening exercise. It has to do with connecting to purpose, because that to me is the cornerstone of maintaining and sustaining energy throughout the day, is connecting or reconnecting to your purpose. So the exercise is this. On my PowerPoint slideshow, I throw up a slide. There's 3 words on there, and I asked the audience, I said, I want you to finish the statement. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to do it. The 3 words are, I live for blank. In 3 seconds, the lights go off on the screen, and I say, how many of you are surprised by what came up for you? I would say 2 out of 3 people in the audience are shocked at what came up for them.
Do you live
when
for
they responded to
adventure?
that. I live for adventure.
yeah.
Yes.
What do you live for, Jean-Noel?
Probably creativity,
Uh-huh.
and exploring consciousness, how it creates reality, that sort of thing.
And
What about you?
I live for good health, for getting through each day, you know, and being able to keep doing what I do that I love to do. Yeah. And I just want to say one more thing about Terry. You know, he's a musician too. He goes out and plays almost every week or every other week.
Well, for sure, every Wednesday night at the Industry
For
Cafe
sure.
in Culver City.
What do you
If I
play?
live in
Guitar?
town. I play harmonica.
Harmonica.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Tell people your website, because we're going to break right now, so they can find you.
Okay, it's a no-brainer. TerryBraverman.com.
Okay. And if you're interested in having Terry speak, you can look on his website or at speakerservices.com, and we'll put you in touch with Terry. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today. It
Thank
was a
you,
lot of
Susan.
fun. We really had.
Nice to
Remember
see you.
his book? Say the title of the book again.
Where's all that applause coming from?
It's our audience.
Where are the people? Are they in the walls? You have people listening through the walls? Okay, for my next act, I will do the Nutcracker Suite.
Okay,
And the
we're going
ebook
to
is
break,
called-
honey. So
Okay.
this is his book here, When the Going Gets Tough.
And the new book is called?
The new book, L.A. Made Easy, From Iconic to Eclectic.
Thank
Okay, you can find him on terrybraverman.com. And when we come back in 2 minutes, we're going to be talking to Camille Leon, who is the founder of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Not the regular Chamber of Commerce, but the Holistic Chamber, which is a national organization for holistic practitioners. She's also a coach and co-creator, and not an author, but the co-creator of the Exhilaration Effect, which she'll share with us. So don't go away. You've been listening to LA Talk Live, and we'll be back in 2 minutes with Camille Leon.
'Cause I have a dream. True love is evergreen. I know it's not too late. Gonna grow some love today. Planting a seed to build a world closer to heaven. Planting a seed in my soul. Yeah, I'm watching it grow.
Hi, this is Jean-Noel Bassior, inviting you to join me for my new show, The Book Beat, Monday evenings at 6:30 p.m. I'll be talking to authors about their latest book so you can find a fantastic read. But more than that, I'll be talking to experts about how you can write your own book and get it published. So tune in on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. And remember, you can catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Dr. Levi, your fitness doctor, making a personal house call, inviting you to join me Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific for my all-new show, The Dr. Levi Show. Join us as we discuss fitness, health, and well-being, including emotional and spiritual health. So don't forget to tune in to The Dr. Levi Show every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on latalklive.com and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. You can also catch us on iTunes, Radio R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv, or catch us on the Live 365 network, and now on Radio Flag and Stitcher Radio. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
People, it's Jennifer Tapia from StarCam. You guys might know me from the red carpet, catching up with all the stars, but guess what? We're bringing the red carpet to the radio right out here on LA Talk Live. I'm going live Thursday nights at 6 p.m. We got hot topics, celebrities, and much more. We were featured on Chloe Lamar on E!, Howard Stern, T.I.'s Family Hustle. You know how we do. So check it out on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. All things Hollywood, everything celebrity. StarCam Radio?
StarCam Radio? StarCam Radio!
Oh yeah, follow us on Twitter at StarCam Radio.
Today is my day, a brand new beginning. The future will blossom magnificently.
Welcome back. Susan Levin here from Speaker Services with my co-host. What's your name?
My name, Jean-Noel Bassior.
And you're
You don't know that yet?
She forgot her
That was
cue.
my cue
It's
that
her
I
cue,
missed.
right. And you're a Talk Up Your Biz, Speak Your Way to More Profits. And this segment, we have the fabulous Miss Camille Leon. Yes. And she is an expert at finding practical solutions to today's challenges, and her specialty is helping people find holistic, natural, and sustainable products and services. And as we mentioned earlier, she's the executive director of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank
To you. I'm
Susan.
so happy to have you on the show. I've known Camille for a really long time, and I was with her when
Don't
she
tell
started.
them.
It's only 5 or 6 years. It's not 21 years.
Susan always says, well, but we've been working together for 56 years.
Yeah, there you go.
And I remember when you started the Holistic Chamber, and you've done amazing work. How many chapters do you have now?
We have 23 chapters in 8 states now.
That's amazing. Every time I turn around, I hear that there's another chapter. And I'm a proud member of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. But tell us, what is the Holistic Chamber of Commerce and what motivated you to get started with that? Because before you were doing something else, like, taking people, on skydiving trips and eating cockroaches and snails and stuff.
No, we've never eaten cockroaches.
I know, I'm just making it
Crickets,
up.
Scorpions.
Okay.
But the Holistic Chamber of Commerce came out of some family health issues that I realized were potentially going to impact me. And I wanted to start making new health and lifestyle choices. And I'm not a big fan of go take another pill, go get another prescription. So I was like, okay, how do you find holistic and natural health options? And they're hard to find. The good quality healers are so busy healing, and they tend to be really high touch, not high tech. So they're hard to find. And the Holistic Chamber of Commerce came out of the desire to create connections from those holistic and natural healers to more mainstream consumers. And then at a certain point, I realized that those healers need better business building support. And so that's when we started representing people like you who offer the business support that the healers, who are really experts
Right, who
in
just
those
needed a little
specialties.
help.
Yeah.
Jean-Noel and I did a series together. Was that what you were going to say?
Well, I was going to say also that
Yeah.
my other hat is I'm a reconnective healer.
Oh, right.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, in that circle of people, when I'm doing that, we just get dumb. We don't know how to promote ourselves. So you really hit on something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true because most people who are healers or writers, they just want to do what they do. They don't want to market themselves.
Yeah.
And one of the ways of when you join the Holistic Chamber, and it's such a great group, and is that you can get to speak there. And I've really taken advantage of that. And every time I speak, I find new people who need our services. And last week, Adam Tim, who was on the show also, and who's the president of the West LA Chamber, he said to me, let's do something different than speaker marketing. So we came up with every business has a story. What's yours? And I don't know if you knew this, but the gal, what's her name? For the Studio City group, and her husband, Stellar,
Yes.
the last name. Very nice people were there, and they called me, or I heard through the fan page that they used my techniques the next night, and it was very, very helpful, and people really liked it.
Wow.
And I know that makes you happy,
Oh, it totally makes me, because that's the point.
Yeah.
Which is the good ideas need to get exposure so that they can really expand and reach more people.
And I've made wonderful connections there, not just, for me, that I'm speaking, but I've used many services. And I love it when we have a happy hour and we can get to know people better. And here's another thing that I'm always tell people this, Camille, is like, even if you don't come to a meeting in 28 chapters, wherever you are in whatever city or whatever country you're in, you can still get into the wonderful directory that you have, and then when people are looking for a service, they will call you, and we've gotten calls that way. We got our client Tom Sockwell that way, and Beverly, remember Beverly, our friend in Florida?
Yep,
right.
Yeah,
Florida.
who still sends us wonderful love notes, and we met Tom. We had him on the show with his daughter here.
I call us a hybrid organization. I know that traditional chambers of commerce are local only,
Right.
but today's world really demands being online. So we're online and in person, we're national and local.
So what are some of the ways you help them, these holistic healers kind of get out there and connect?
Well, partially through public speaking. Talk up your biz. I mean, if somebody is a good chiropractor or acupuncturist, they may or may not be a good speaker on top of that. But if I'm out there giving interviews, doing public speaking, talking about holistic, natural, and sustainable health solutions, then the healers can continue to be good healers, and I'm speaking on their behalf, which is one reason for the online member directory at www.holisticchamberofcommerce.com.
Well, we were going to ask you, but thank you. Of course.
I mean, so we've set it up so wherever somebody is, because you've got 279,000 people listening to this show, and they're probably not all in LA. So wherever
That's
they
true.
are, they can go to our website,
Right.
and they can hopefully find a local whatever they're looking for near them. And the bigger we get, the more likely that is.
Yeah.
Also, they can start a chapter, right? Because I had a client that I sort of opened a dialogue with between you and him. And the thing was, if you're a holistic healer, no matter what part of the country you're in, and your area doesn't have a branch of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, if you start one, then it seems to me that you become kind of the center of activity, and all the other healers in the area now get to come to these meetings that you're hosting. So you're kind of really, your visibility goes way up, I would think.
Your visibility goes way up. We've actually also had some marketing coaches, some heart-centered or soul-centered marketing coaches who have taken the reins and started their local chapter. So they're really creating that bridge between the business and the healers. But yes, we actually are one of our naturopaths, who's the chapter president in San Antonio. She has been featured in print, online, and on television.
Yeah, it gives you an
Yes.
identity that media
Yeah.
will, when as a reporter, I know that when we need a quote from somebody, that's sort of a good credential. I'll look at that. Well, who's the president of, there's a holistic chamber
Yeah.
of commerce. So that's who I'll go to. So I would think wherever you're listening around the country, you've got a great opportunity here to get in touch with Camille about, the possibility of starting a chapter.
You know what I
Thank you.
like to, I like the diversity of the people who come to the meetings, from people who are doing solar power activities to green housing, building. And last time I met a woman who was, I don't remember what the expression is, but she works with heart patients when they get the transplant. And now she's going to be stepping out on her own and coaching. She may not be a member yet. Her name is Rose. And she already's been asked to speak to 1,000 people, and she has no clue how to speak. So she was sitting right next to me, and we had a great chat. But that is so different, like, where do you find somebody who's a coach, who's been in the hospital, and yet at the same time can be there to coach you through it and whatever it is that you need for you and or your family. And that night she was there when we were telling our stories, and she told a beautiful story about somebody who was in desperate need of a heart, and then she was with her the whole time, and when she got the heart, how she changed and how she helped her.
And and the other thing is, they are very often working in esoteric specialties that you can't use. You've got your own special language. It's a very special story, and to make that story connect with whoever your audience is takes some awareness and some skills to make sure that the complete connection is made.
I've got a brand for her.
What is that?
The Heart Whisperer.
Oh,
good.
nice. I like
I
it.
hope you're listening, Rose.
There you go.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I wanted to ask you also about the work that you're doing with Barbara Schiffman. You have a really nice thing going on, and you
Yeah.
gave me some beautiful statistics in the green room about it. So tell us about that.
Well, so Barbara and I are co-creators of the Exhilaration Effect, and it's really about the art and science of taking your leap of faith. So often we get stuck wherever we are in our comfort zone or our safety zone, and it's how do you get unstuck? How do you break through and take whatever that leap of faith is? We just launched our e-course on dailyom.com about taking your leap of faith, and it's just funny to watch people light up when you say, do you have a leap of faith that you want to take? Ooh, what's this? And we just launched last Tuesday, not even a week. We're already in the top, we're actually top 5 for e-courses on dailyom.com. Yes, very exciting. We're on the front page. You were talking about books and how ebooks really have all those components of a traditional book, and they go beyond because of the MP3s and the
multimedia
videos and
now,
the multimedia. And that's really what the e-course is like a multimedia book. However, it's delivered one chapter at a time so that you have some time to digest and to work on your exercises before you get to the next step of the path.
Now, I know you used to take people with your breakthrough coaching, like skydiving, right?
Yeah.
And white water rafting or river rafting, or
yes, actually there was some rafting, some NASCAR race car driving.
NASCAR, right?
I don't know whether it's a win or not, but I actually crashed my car that day. I did a little spin out.
Wow.
You know what was really incredible is I drive in LA, right? So I've been rear-ended.
Well,
but the race car driving, I spun out, I hit and I was fine. Like,
wow.
I got out of the car and A-okay.
So my question would be like, so I know you actually physically took people on these, field trips, and you did it. Now through this ebook coaching, is it, obviously you're not physically doing this with them. How have you translated this into the ebook format?
we use a lot of questions because we do, in fact, say this is an active course. Everybody here at this table has heard of the law of attraction. So the law of attraction only goes so far. At a certain point, you have to combine it with the law of action.
So go jump out of a plane this week and then report back?
We encourage people, and not everybody has to jump out of a plane. It's a very good visual. People get it when you say that. And starting your own business is like jumping out of a plane.
True.
Getting out of a long-term relationship is like jumping. So it's a good metaphor. But we ask a lot of questions so that people can find their adrenaline rush that's going to translate into their exhilaration effect. For some people, it's getting on a roller coaster. And I've been to Magic Mountain. Those roller coasters, they will do the trick. For some people, it's eating. I've taken people to eat exotic foods.
Such
Insects, crickets, scorpions. Now, what's really funny, and this is how you get really clear that each person has their own path. I have had people walk up to me and say, I would never jump out of an airplane. And I've had others walk up to me and say, oh, I'd jump out of an airplane way before I'd ever eat those bugs. And I'm like, really? 'Cause, yeah.
I remember when at one point you had said to me, Susan, you could use some coaching, and I said, if it means jumping out of a plane or eating insects, I'm not there.
I'll pass.
You know what, though? What's funny is sometimes the idea that you're so stuck that you need to do one of those outrageous, sometimes that very idea is enough to push you like, oh, geez, yeah, I don't need to do that. I can learn how to use MailChimp or Constant Contact. And I know people who that's their sticking point, is they know that email marketing would enhance their business, but they're still not doing it. I know people who are sick of their job and they know they need to update their resume. And have they done it yet? No.
It's scarier than jumping out of a plane for some people.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but it's interesting. So you bring them to that point through this e-course of finding where they're stuck, right? And then challenging them to do it, and then they're being held accountable by...
There's, one of the cool things about this e-course is there actually is a discussion community. So typically when you get a book, that's it, you get a book. And it doesn't come with people who are in the middle of the same process.
Oh, that's really cool. So how do they get this book?
So they can go to dailyom.com and look for Taking Your Leap of Faith. But we actually have also... that goes directly to our page, which is tinyurl.com/leap-register. And the nice thing about dailyom.com is there's actually a sliding scale. So you're given a variety of choices about what you feel that you can afford and what you feel that it's going to be worth for you.
Now spell that out, D-E-L-E-O-N.
Daily.
Oh, daily?
Daily, D-A-I-L-Y.
Oh, see, I got it totally wrong.
Oh, I'm glad you...
Yeah.
And OM is O-M.
Okay, got it, because that was like your name, adding D to it, Daily Own.
Yeah, really.
No,
it's DAILYOM.com, and
Okay,
the
good.
course is Taking Your Leap of Faith.
And that's where people put up e-courses? Is that the thing
Yes.
that they do? Because I'd never heard of that before. That's really good.
It's really, and there are a wide variety of courses. Of course, the one you want is about taking your leap of faith, but, you know.
Have you been to the Gratitude Cafe yet?
I have heard about the Gratitude
Because
Cafe.
that reminds me of
and I
it
have
taking
a
a
lot
leap.
to be grateful for.
Okay, what are you grateful for?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm grateful for the Holistic Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Yeah.
healers there. I'm grateful for Daily Om and that I keep taking my leap of faith. And let me just tell you, every day, new leap of faith.
I know you moved like 3 times in a year. I can't even keep up with you. We used to be neighbors. We would go bike riding together. We'd go do happy hour. And then the next thing I know, she's moving. And then I talk to her again, and she's on the other side of town.
And each place, bigger and better. And
That's
I
right.
tell you, I think one of the challenges for a lot of people in taking their leap of faith is sometimes we don't want to let go of what we have. The grass may look greener on the other side of the street, but that means that we have to let go of all the cool stuff that's on the side of the street that we're on. And moving for me is that process of letting go of what's no longer helping so that I can have a nice, clear, open space for all the new good stuff to show up.
Well, she's quite an inspiration,
Right.
Camille Leon, you know,
Inspiring.
for both of us. Yeah.
Letting go is hard, so thank you for, inspiring us, showing our way.
I love that applause track.
Yeah, that's great.
So-
But we have a great engineer,
Nez, yes.
Yeah, we
Thank you,
appreciate
Nez.
it. We're grateful for
Give
Nez.
yourself a hand, Nez. So thank you to our guests, Terry Braverman and Camille Leon. And next week, we're going to have Brian Smith. Now, if that name is not a name you recognize, you may have one of his products. Do you have UGG boots? Brian Smith is the inventor of UGG boots, and he's going to be right here with us next week on the show. And who else are we having?
And we're having Noble Dracone, who's a financial expert and Wall Street rock star who achieved stunning success by age 19. And he reveals 7 secrets that will transform you into an attractor of wealth and success.
So thanks so much for joining us today, and do stay tuned for the Book Beat coming up in half an hour on LA Talk Live, where we are more than just talk.
See you next time.
'Cause I have a dream. True love is evergreen. I know it's not too late. Gonna grow some love today. Planting a seed to build a world closer to heaven. Planting a seed in my soul. Yeah, I'm watching it grow.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.